Welcome back to the deep dive. You guys have been sending in some really interesting articles about what Apple's got planned for the future. New headsets, iPad rumors, even hints about a smart home device. Someone's ready for some serious tech upgrades.
Sounds like it.
So let's dive right in. What's got you buzzing in the world of Apple right now?
Well, there's a lot of buzz about the Vision Pro, and for good reason. The articles you shared all seem to point to a new version on the horizon, which should make sense given Apple's typical release schedule.
A refresh already. It feels like we just got used to the whole strapping a computer to our faces thing.
Right. But here's the thing. Word on the street is it'll have the new M5 chip.
Okay, hold on. Break that down for me. The current M2 chip is already crazy fast. What are we talking about? Like light speed?
Practically.
Sure.
You know how the M2 can handle 8K video editing without even blinking?
It's pretty impressive.
Well, the M5 is rumored to be twice as powerful. That means the new Vision Pro could be capable of real-time 3D rendering, like instantly creating those crazy immersive environments we always hear about.
And you know all those articles you sent about Apple Intelligence?
Yeah.
With that kind of power, the possibilities are kind of mind-blowing. We're not just talking about a faster headset here. We're talking next-level AI integration.
Exactly. It's like Apple's laser-focused on pushing us toward this spatial computing future, where our digital and physical worlds are just one and the same. Although they definitely seem to be thinking about the price tag, too.
Yeah, I noticed some rumors about the design and a few specs staying the same. Probably a smart move if they want to make it even remotely affordable, but it makes you wonder if they're holding back on some of the wow factor for something even bigger down the line.
Interesting. And speaking of balancing new features and affordability, let's talk about the iPad. You've been digging into the rumors about an upcoming refresh, right? Especially the base model.
For sure. I mean, the current one's starting to feel a little left behind with that A14 chip, but I did see some rumors about a potential upgrade, maybe even powerful enough to handle Apple Intelligence.
You're not imagining things. There's definitely some talk out there that the new iPad could jump to the A16 chip, potentially even an A17 or A18 to handle those heavier AI features.
Wow, Apple Intelligence on something as ubiquitous as an iPad, that could be a game changer for accessibility.
Totally. Imagine students using AI-powered learning tools or artists being able to create on the go with super advanced image generation. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. But let's be real for a second. Packing that kind of power into an entry-level iPad, there have to be some compromises, right?
Oh, definitely. More power usually means more memory, better components, all of which affect the price. And Apple's not exactly known for being shy about bumping up prices for the latest and greatest.
Very true. But hey, even if it's just the A16 chip, we're still talking about a significant performance boost. Maybe even better battery life. Not bad for an affordable iPad. Speaking of new devices, though, you stumbled across something about a brand new Apple gadget, right? Some kind of home hub.
Ah, yes. The mysterious home accessory. Now, this one is interesting. It's rumored to be like a fusion of the iPad, HomePod, and Apple TV all rolled into one, like a central command for your whole Apple life.
Okay, now you've got my attention. What else do we know?
Well, buckle up, because this is where things get really wild. There's talk of a square display, which would be a huge departure for Apple. Plus, a built-in camera for FaceTime and get this potential hand gesture recognition.
Wait, FaceTime on a home hub? That's actually genius. No more awkwardly propping up your phone while trying to make dinner and chat with family.
Exactly. Seems like Apple's aiming to integrate its tech even further into our everyday lives. But what I find so interesting is how they're approaching it. This focus on intuitive interaction and convenience, it's really something.
It's like they're not just adding new features, they're completely rethinking the whole experience. This home accessory thing, if they can actually pull it off, it could be a total game changer.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How will these rumored features actually work in real life, and at what cost?
For sure. But you know, while it's exciting to speculate about all these new releases, you also dug up some information about the Apple products that won't be getting an upgrade this year. Time to pour one out for all our soon-to-be obsolete devices.
Yeah, let's just say for some Apple devices, the refresh cycle this year is going to feel more like a retirement party.
Okay, so spill the tea. Which of our favorite Apple gadgets are about to get left in the dust?
Well, from the looks of it, the M4 MacBook Air, the Mac Studio, and the Mac Pro, which everyone's been waiting for, by the way, are all going to be hanging back for a 2025 debut.
That's a bit of a wait for anyone who is hoping to upgrade this year. But those M4 Ultra chips are supposed to be absolute monsters, right? Especially for Mac Studio and Mac Pro users who need all the power they can get. I bet those will be worth the wait.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of 2025, don't forget about the iPhone SE4. Rumor has it it's getting a complete makeover that spring.
Really? What have you heard?
Well, they're saying it could inherit the iPhone 14's design and maybe even get Apple Intelligence.
Wow. 2025 is shaping up to be a huge EE year for Apple. New Macs, a new iPhone SE. Is there anything else we should add to our calendars?
Well, if all these Vision Pro rumors are true, it seems like Apple's really banking on this whole spatial computing thing being the next big wave.
Uh,
And it would make sense for them to release a more affordable non-pro version of the headset as part of that.
right, like they're testing the waters with the high-end model now, and then boom, they'll hit us with a version that's actually, attainable for the rest of us once the technology gets a little cheaper to make.
Exactly. And if they can find that balance between price and, keeping the user experience really good, it could be huge. Like it could completely change how we use technology.
Totally. Speaking of making the Vision Pro more accessible, didn't you find something about them maybe switching up the display technology? I'm guessing that's a big chunk of the cost right now.
You're right on the money. I mean, the current Vision Pro has that crazy sharp, super immersive display, but that level of visual detail doesn't come cheap. For them to make a non-pro version that people can actually afford, they're going to have to make some compromises somewhere.
So it's all about walking that fine line, right? Between making it affordable but not making it feel like a budget version. Any clues about how they might do that?
Well, apparently Apple's been asking for display samples that have a slightly lower pixel density than the current Vision Pro. Yeah, which suggests that they're looking into ways to make it cheaper without sacrificing too much visual quality.
Makes sense. They can't expect everyone to drop a couple grand on a top-of-the-line model. If they want to get everyone on board with spatial computing, they've got to make it, appealing to the masses. But while we're on the topic of technology that's becoming more accessible, we should probably talk about the flip side. The devices that are about to be left behind. Didn't you come across something about obsolescence?
Right, exactly. I almost forgot. Apple just added 9 Mac models from 2015 and 2016 to their list of vintage and obsolete products, which is kind of a reality check for all of us still clinging to our old devices.
I know. It's crazy to think 2015 and 2016 are practically ancient history in the tech world. But I bet there are some people out there still rocking those older MacBooks. Which models are we talking about here?
The list has a bunch of MacBook Air and MacBook Pro models from those years, plus a few iMacs. Actually, the 2016 MacBook Pro, the one with the 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, that was the first one with the touch bar that's on there too.
Oh, yeah, the touch bar. Remember all the hype good and bad around that thing? It's kind of funny how what feels revolutionary one day can be basically obsolete a few years later.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It just goes to show even the most cutting-edge tech eventually becomes a part of history. It's kind of cool, though. As we're looking ahead at what Apple might be working on next, it's good to take a minute and appreciate how far things have come and how fast they change.
It really makes you think what we consider cutting edge now might be vintage in a couple years.
Totally. It's like when you watch those old sci-fi movies, how they thought the future would be. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes it's so wrong it's funny.
It is kind of funny.
But you got to admit, that constant evolution, that's what keeps things interesting. Especially with a company like Apple. It's like they always have something up their sleeve.
That's true. It's part of the fun, the anticipation. And from the rumors we've been seeing, it doesn't sound like that's going to change anytime soon. Just the Vision Pro alone, the way it could change how we interact with technology, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And then the idea that we could have Apple Intelligence on everything, high-end Macs, iPads. I mean, it's like they're on a mission to bring the future to our fingertips, no matter what device we're using.
That's actually what's so fascinating to me about all this, the accessibility. Imagine if Apple can pull this off. Imagine a world where all these powerful AI tools, they're just available to everyone.
That would be huge.
It would be revolutionary. Students using AI for personalized learning. Artists using it to collaborate and create whole new forms of art. I mean, even just everyday tasks, they could be totally transformed with a little intelligent help.
I know it's exciting, but it's also kind of a lot to wrap your head around. Like we're on the verge of something massive.
Exactly. And who knows what kind of opportunities and challenges this new wave of tech is going to bring. That's something I'm sure we'll be diving into on future deep dives.
I can't wait. Well, thanks for joining me today for this deep dive into the future of Apple. Don't forget to keep your eyes peeled for new tech rumors, and until then, we'll be here to help you connect the dots. Now, here's something to think about. If this whole spatial computing future that Apple's been hinting at actually becomes a reality, how do you think it will change how we connect with each other? Could we share experiences with our friends and family across the globe, like we're in the same room? Could it break down geographical barriers and create whole new ways for us to connect? The possibilities really are limitless.